Hello and welcome to the Data Break Podcast, episode 69 for the week of March 5th, 2017. I'm your host, James Lean. With me today, we have Ravenstorm Barkin.
Hi there.
And Max Lee.
Hello.
It's been just about 2 days since we last podcasted. That's because this is sort of more of a part two of the last episode. We were just so eager to come back to the subject we were talking about earlier before, we all had to do our things. So here we are, revisiting the topic, and so in this episode, we're going to probably keep it short-ish, but who knows? It's us. We could drag it out as long as we want. It'll happen. It'll happen. So this week, we're going to talk about intellectual property and rarity. So if you recall from last week's episode, we talked about this particular mechanical keyboard's key set that had a really weird history, and basically it was very hard to find. So when someone tried to make copies, there was some weird drama involved. So just to recap, as best I can in a short amount of time as possible, there was a group buy for a key set based off of this guy named Ethan Schmoover's colorway that he made for programming. So it's kind of like a programming-ish inspired colorway, and was applied to this key set. This was run by a guy named Bunny Lake over on the Geek Hack forums, and long story short, the group buy was kind of a disaster. People who ordered their key sets 3 years ago still haven't gotten their key sets. So in the meantime, while waiting for this, some other just to be clear, all the keycaps have been already manufactured. It's not a problem with manufacturing; it's the distribution. So he has all the keycaps, and they're all in his house basically, but he hasn't sent them out yet. So people are pretty pissed about that. So, anyways, so in the meantime, waiting for these key sets to be shipped out, people are saying, "Oh, you know what? Why don't I just make my own set?" So this one guy made a little private run for himself. I think he's in like Florida or something. Anyways, he made a private run for himself around 10 key sets, and he said that. So what happened was that he made a private run and he got the keys manufactured, and then he sold the rest. So he sold like 7 or so sets. Now, Bunny Lake comes across this thread, this listing for 7 of these sets that he, organized, and he thought he was the only one who had. He is like, what the heck's going on here? He's obviously pretty angry, and apparently what happened is that the guy who commissioned the private run of the 10 sets, apparently he was not supposed to produce the set. It wasn't the manufacturer, Signature Plastics, was not supposed to produce the set, but they said, okay, we'll produce the set because it's a private run, and we assume that you're not going to go sell them later. Well, lo and behold, he sold them. But the bigger issue is, of course, is that why aren't they allowing other people to produce their own versions of this key set? It's just colors, right?
Right, and I've seen this key set. I actually take a look at this in the hiatus here, and it is, first of all, it's ugly.
It's kind
of an ugly key
It's
set.
kind of tan. I don't like the tan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also, it's like 3 colors.
Okay,
it's 3 colors.
So yeah, that's another thing, right? So the colors themselves aren't horrible, but the thing is that they put them on this dark blue, and it's hard to read. It is hard to read, especially the orange on the dark blue is so hard to read.
Yeah.
And or the green on the dark blue. Oh my goodness! Don't even get me started. It doesn't work out. There's better ways to produce this, and I'm looking forward to a key set that's coming out soon-ish. Not soon, but later this year maybe, and I'll probably get it by next year, around this time next year. That is better as far as visibility and overall looks are concerned. Anyways, that aside. So basically what's happening is that Signature Plastics is protecting a colorway, right? They're not allowing people to make the same key set or the key set in the same colors, which is odd to say the least. I mean, granted, it is a very unique mix of colors because it does use those multiple colors along the modifiers, so that, like, I think it's like orange, blue, green, and gray, right?
Yeah.
Most key sets will use around 3 colors max, so that's what makes it strange.
Yeah.
So, but still, it does, people are thinking, like, what the heck? This guy is basically, he's protecting colorways. He's not letting other people make it, even though, the means are obviously there. And,
and the colorway was put out as open source.
The colorway isn't.
Like, maybe.
The thing is that the colorway isn't his. He didn't even create it, right? If it was, if the person who was organizing the group buy and the person blocking the production of these sets was the Ethan Schmoover that originally produced the Solarized colorway, I would sort of see where that's going. Like that kind of, it's like, it's still kind of scummy, sure, because it's colors, but it sort of still makes sense.
Yeah.
But for someone who didn't have any creative input whatsoever, well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Minimal creative input as far as the colors were concerned, and was mostly solely responsible for, organizing a group buy that, was, a freaking disaster. You gotta wonder, is like, who says who, right? Who says that you're who? Why are you the authority on owning this colorway? Anyways, I don't know. You guys what's your guys' take on this particular instance, or in general?
I got a question about it. Has Bunny Lake replied to any comments on the fact that Ethan how do you pronounce it?
Schmoover, I think.
How that Ethan Schmoover created the original concept? Has he replied to any of those?
I have yet to read any of them. I wouldn't be surprised if someone did accuse him of that, but I would think he'd probably. I would say I haven't seen it myself, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, so this one's unjustifiable. I think there are some cases in which this could be justifiable. If Bunny Lake and Ethan Schmoover were the same person, that would be justifiable. If Bunny Lake had done specific tweaks to it that were intentional and documented, perhaps. It seems to me like he just sort of lifted a colorway and then used it and then is taking credit for it. Problem that I have with this is that the credit, the sort of, you could call it license over this, is not going to the correct person. Or at least it's not being respected.
Right. I mean, in the webpage for the Penumbra key set, which there's various links for it. Like, he does link to the original Solarized concept, but to protect that on his own terms is kind of strange to me. One thing that would be really interesting would be, actually, I just thought of this now. I might propose it to other people, is to, if the original creator said, hey, this is actually my colorway, he lifted it, please just let people produce it or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if that's possible.
It's just, all it is just letting people spend their money, though. That's the thing.
Exactly. You just want the keys,
it's allowing
right?
the demand to, it's just creating a supply for the demand that exists.
This is a good place of a segue, but I don't want to go there yet. But another thing. So the puzzling thing to me, at least in the past, is that Signature Plastics, producer of the key sets, they do not in any way protect colorways. They did not. Prior to this incident, prior to this week, as far as we know, they were not responsible for protecting colorways. So like if someone made a water-based, a water-inspired key set with white and blue colors, right? They would, or like raindrop, right? And then and then someone else wanted to make a snowstorm inspired key set with white and blue. Signature Plastics would have no problem doing that. What they did protect prior to this was that novelty keys. So like if there's like special art, I don't know if you've seen it, like there's like little,
now that makes sense because art is deliberate.
Yeah, that's
and
correct.
It's original.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, not universally, but keycaps with art on them.
Yeah.
Someone put their time and effort into that. I was talking about that last time.
Right. Could you argue that, well, by that logic, I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Could you argue that time and effort was put into creating the original Penumbra Solarized key set, or no?
Surely it was. But that being said, how much, when ordered the private run, when the second person ordered the private run, was it did they just submit the colorway, or did they submit the font, or did they ask that exact thing be reproduced? That kind of...
So the thing about Penumbra is that there's nothing particularly unique about the key sets. Because
does it use a font that...
It does not. It uses the Signature Plastics.
The standard font.
The Gortron modified is what they use, I believe, for these key sets. But no, there was no modification of the font. There's no even special keys either. There's no like novelty keys either. It's like just the regular thing, but applied with a different colorway.
Time and effort was put into it for sure, but not the same kind of time and effort, not to the same degree that it would take to create an original set of keys, an original font, or original art.
So does this beg the question, how much is enough? How much is enough to justify protecting it as its own piece of art?
That's
as
one of the
intellectual
crazy
property.
That's one of those crazy things. I personally don't think I think intellectual property needs to be really intensely reworked and intensely thought about in order to be something functional. Because right now we treat ideas like we treat material goods, which is very strange. It just doesn't work the same way,
Yeah.
Like when I download something, I'm not taking a physical copy of it. I'm just copying the data and keeping it for myself, using it, putting it in my head,
For the record, we do not condone piracy on this podcast.
But the issue is that since so many things are digital, it means that the laws have to change because, like, there are products there don't exist physically, but they still need to be protected in some way. So
Surely,
it's a weird mess. We're in a transitional period.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that like digital goods aren't worthy of protection. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that it's not. We can't apply the property sort of ideas that we apply to material goods to digital or scarcity-free goods.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think the question of how much is enough, that's a really interesting one, because I think there is it's definitely case by case, but if I were to draw a clear line, I would say that when you are synthesizing an original idea, when you're breaking new ground, you're putting something new out there that isn't already out there, that's sort of what qualifies it. And if he's using a colorway someone else invented, with a font someone else created, and manufacturing it at a factory owned by someone else, I really just don't see that that's worthy of protection.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all.
Right.
And one additional comment. You guys notice on the internet, usually a person who steals another person's work is more defensive about his so-called
defensive.
creation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is
While the original creator doesn't do that.
This is where I use my thinking emoji. So it's a weird and difficult thing to ask, and honestly I would say this is a unique case, and I don't know what's gonna come out of this, if we're gonna get more you
go to the Supreme Court
of keycaps,
Supreme Court, or the People's Court.
Yeah. It's funny because I was thinking about this key set, and I was theorizing with some other colleagues, and we were thinking like, what if we just, Signature Plastics can't really protect that colorway, can they? Because this was before all this happened. We were like, Signature Plastics can't really protect that colorway. What if we just run our own under the radar and just run it ourselves? And someone beat us to the punch, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, I don't know how Signature Plastics is actually doing this protection. I don't know if that's fully legal, but I guess they have the right. They reserve the right to do that.
To produce or not produce key sets, right?
Right.
Yeah, and honestly, the enthusiast keycap market is very small for them. They mostly produce keycaps for manufacturers and like the cash registers and all that sort of stuff. They're responsible for making the keycaps for a lot of those buttons. So for a lot of people bickering over some expensive keycaps is kind of strange to them, and
I'd suppose.
So okay, yeah. So that's kind of it's kind of a weird thing. One thing I'll probably imagine that that is stopping Bunny Lake from letting people produce it is some form of like gatekeeping. Have you heard of this term?
I believe so.
I think so. You explain it though in this context because.
Well, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Oh, you like space? Name 5 astronauts. That type of gatekeeping. Right?
Oh.
So
that's he.
It just makes you want to roll your eyes out of your head.
Cut out.
Sorry?
Say that again. You cut out.
Oh, sorry. It just makes you want to roll your eyes out of your head. Just the worst.
Yes. I think that what's going on here. I mean, I can't say for sure, of course.
No, of course, no, we can't.
This has to do. Yeah, this has to do with the fact that he botched the whole distribution thing.
It has to do with ego. It has to do with ego.
It has to do with ego.
You know what?
Because
I think it's a mix of the two at this point.
No, but think about this. It's not. There's no like real reason that he should be doing this.
Well, okay, so
everyone has the right to be upset with him because he basically took their money.
So here's the thing. These keycaps are just aesthetic, right? Aesthetic. Sorry,
aesthetic.
I'm obligated to say that every time I say aesthetic now. But they're just for aesthetics, right? They don't really do anything. They don't make you type faster, and you could get similar shaped keycaps anywhere basically, right? You can get them. You can get different colors. I have some coming in. They're blue, and they look great. So
they look great.
So what? So why would he? Why would you be so upset? Why would you be so upset and so adamant about protecting this? Well, because it's aesthetic and it's something meant to show off, right? It's a status symbol, right? The penumbra is a status symbol, right? Let's not delude ourselves here.
But it only became a status symbol because he fucked it up.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? But not only does it say that, hey, I was one of the lucky few that were able to get their hands on the key set after Bunny fucked up the group buy. It's also saying that I was an OG mechanical keyboards enthusiast back in 2013 or whatever the fuck it ran, right?
Yeah.
So the idea of someone like Massdrop producing running a group buy for thousands upon thousands, and these group buys are incredibly popular. They're getting 2,000 2,500 people buying these key sets, and now suddenly everyone has them. Do you think there's some element of gatekeeping? It's oh, this key set isn't even special anymore. It's not special anymore because so many people have it. Do you think there's an element of I mean obviously I believe
hipster
that, but
gatekeeping?
Yeah, it's gatekeeping in a sense. It's like, oh, you're not really an OG mechanical keyboards fan because you have Penumbra. That was the new set created, for Mastrop, and it's not as good, or it's not even. It's the same thing. Like it would be the same thing if Mastrop ran it. I could hear Ravenstorm's eyes like rolling on the floor right now.
But the thing is, it would make so much sense if this was something really intensively custom designed. But it's not. It's not. It's just a color set. It's just a colorway with a default font. No special keys, like you said. There's absolutely no grounds for that. I'm sorry. Like, maybe it is a status symbol, and maybe the people who have it right now, who paid, who shelled out $900 for it, those people, they can be smug. But the fact of the matter is that there is no reasonable grounds for Signature Plastics to be preventing people from ordering whatever they want and giving them their money.
Getting their money, yeah.
I just don't get it.
This is a very unique situation. I don't think Signature Plastics has done this in the past either. So it's very puzzling to me and kind of upsetting, to be honest, that they're doing this now just for this kind of for lack of a better word, kind of a prick, right?
Do you think Bunny Lake might have connections to someone in the company? Like a friend or something, and saying like, hey man, I would prefer that you spread out the word that this stuff belongs to me and no one else should be able to produce it?
So I have no doubts that Bunny Lake has extensive connections. After all, he's the one who ran the buy. He's been around the Geek Hack forums for who knows how long. And honestly, it's kind of upsetting because he's been around so long that a lot of people from the Geek Hack community kind of will defend him. Really, like, honestly. Like, if... I can only imagine that if...
You cut out there, sorry, could you say that again?
Sorry. I can only imagine that if Signature...
pretty severely.
Ravenstorm, that might be on your end. He hasn't cut out for me. And also, Ravenstorm, your volume's a bit low.
Maybe it's my end. I don't know, but
yeah, it is. Nothing has cut out on my end.
Okay, then it's just me. Okay.
We're good.
Anyhow,
I can't imagine that. That like the thing is that Bunny Lake has kind of like it's not, I wouldn't say he's a cult following, but like a lot of people respect him, and I don't know him. I don't know the guy. I mean, I'm sure he was a very respected guy in the community, up till the Penumbra group buy, and these days a lot of and the Geek Hack forums, or like a lot of the users on the Geek Hack forums will defend him, and I would even say that like there's some like almost brigading going on. So like that, if say you were to run a group buy for like if Signature Plastics were to produce a second set of Penumbra, or I would say a third set, because they did run Penumbra earlier this year. I mentioned that earlier, I think. They're running another Penumbra group buy through a different site, but it's still basically through Bunny Lake, almost, sort of. It's kind of dumb because it's like, oh, it's Bunny Lake's colorway that we're selling on our website. Anyways, if Signature Plastics were to run a Penumbra group buy through like another vendor like Mastrop or something without Bunny Lake's consent, without Bunny Lake's consent, a lot of people would be upset. And I mean, because they stole Bunny Lake's work and they're profiting off of it. I don't buy it.
It's a very niche, very very niche, very very niche, market. First of all, and I think fewer people will be upset than people will be happy.
I 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
There are people who want this.
The people
and like.
Are we getting internet desyncing?
I think so. I think my end is doing something kind of strange.
Okay, one moment. No, I might have been talking over it at all. Actually,
I can't tell. It feels like both of you were trying to talk, not talk over each other, but
no, that happened. That happened. That was fine. That was fine.
Okay.
We need to do video. That's what happens.
Technical intermission.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try not to interrupt. Anyways, if Massdrop were to run this set, I don't think a lot of. I think this would affect. Like, this would make 2,500 people happy and probably less than 50 people upset.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that's an accurate assessment.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know what to say other than, you know, it's kind of a scummy move to protect the colorways like that, really.
And again, the people who will be upset will be people who shelled out $600 to $900 for the key set to be smug.
Yeah.
In order to be smug, in order to have the status symbol and say, "Hey, I'm better than you," and they will be upset. So
I mean,
it's kind of like,
I wouldn't doubt that there are people that aren't smug who paid $600 for that. Like, I'm sure there are
Sure.
people who,
Okay,
there are
yeah,
people
I'm
who
not
are
gonna
like, who
generalize
just
that.
happen to, yeah. There are definitely people who are like, who just happen to have the means to pay $600 for the set.
mhm.
But you know, yeah. Yeah. So like, yeah. Again, like, another reason why it's, you know, it's so desirable is because that it is kind of rare, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's something that people, you know, desire, like, only because other people don't have it, which I think is
It
kind
has
of
snob appeal.
yeah. So this leads me to my second topic, was that what does rarity mean to you? Like, do you value rare items? Do you value items because they're rare, or do you just happen to value items that are rare?
Mm.
So this is a much broader question than what we were talking about before. The last thing that we were talking about before, you know, that affects less than 10,000 people. This is like universal, right? There's rarity everywhere.
Yeah.
Diamonds, money, vintage movie posters, whatever, you name it. So what do you think, like, do you think rarity is, you know, justifiable? I want to say.
Who wants to go first?
You can go first, Max.
All right.
And I would love
long
I'd love you guys to bring, like, specific examples. So go ahead.
All right. A long time ago, when I was a young boy, no, just kidding. Okay. All those stories of artificial rarity has more or less convinced me to not care about rarity. Like, say, diamonds. Diamonds aren't actually rare. It's just that one or two companies holds all of them and creates artificial rarity. So, and let's check something else. Maybe for more consumer products, amiibos for, you know, Nintendo.
Right.
They
Amiibos
are able to
were-
produce more, but they intentionally limit the amounts so that people will want them more.
Right. Is that, do you know like, if there's any sources on, like, whether or not Nintendo or whoever produced the Amiibos were intentionally, you know, withholding stock?
Well, I don't
because
know.
I believe nowadays
specifically
it's more or less, the problem's more or less solved, right? Or unless there's still rare Amiibos that I don't know of.
No, they're producing enough, and stores no longer have exclusive rights to a specific amiibo.
Okay,
but,
so it's that. See, in that case.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
But it's not just amiibos. From what I've heard, besides the Switch and the Wii, every Nintendo product has intentionally been produced to be less than predicted amounts of orders.
Yeah. I mean, like, other than the Switch, the most recent example is the NES Classic, right?
Yeah. Oh, especially the NES Classic.
Those things were going for like $600 when you could pick it up. It was like 20, right? When it came out, like the.
I think 40.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you like? But as far as your experiences with, you know, rarity and finding rare goods, or, you know, looking for rare goods, like, what are your experiences, Max, as far as trying to find rare items?
Trying to find rare items. Like, nothing I look for is particularly rare. Maybe in person, but if you go on the internet, it's a lot easier to find. Maybe it'll be more expensive, but I can't call it rare because I mean, just mass market on the internet makes everything easy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. On a personal note, I can't really say it because I don't look for rare items.
How about you, Ravenstorm, as far as like your experiences or opinions on rare goods, be it artificial or natural rarity?
All right. Well, so I work for Taylor's family business, and I see stuff that I don't think I've ever seen before, and I doubt that I'll ever see again. They're, antiques, rare, just generally scarce things. Sometimes I'll see a box of fucking paint or something that's like the original Krylon spray cans. And I thought that could go in a museum. But to me it doesn't matter, because if I don't have a use for it, if it doesn't fit into my life somehow, then it doesn't matter how hard it is to find. It's just like kind of there,
Yeah.
But that being said, I do pride myself on rare goods that I own. My backpack is one of like probably under 500, and I'm order number 4.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm really there. You will not see that backpack. You will just not see it ever anywhere ever. And I have to say, like, it's a good conversation starter, but that's pretty much the utility that it serves me for, and it's a backpack. I mean, it's not particular. I don't. The rarity does not make it special to me because I have one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there were, if for example, hard and soft goods, I don't know if they're still producing. If they stopped producing these, and there are only a certain number floating around in the world, and people want them, I'm not going to go looking for it. I'm, and with limited quantity, with scarcity, the price is the rationing function. Price is what allows it basically decides who gets it.
Right.
And I'm willing to pay a certain price for a certain thing, a backpack, say, but I paid 100 for this one. I would not pay 150 for it. I would not pay 200 for it.
Wow, I was trying to think
500 for it.
I was trying to figure out what backpack you would have bought. Like, is this some vintage thing? No, this is the rucksack, right? The sea.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah, nice. This is the one with the OG logo, if I recall. Is that correct?
It is the one with the OG logo, but I took it off because it's an ugly logo, and I don't want to advertise for a company. It looks super minimalist now. It's like really just slick.
It's funny.
Black.
I wonder how many of the people who bought the bag would have paid more, or preferred the one with the old logo. If they had a chance to get an old logo version.
It had some funky kerning, dude.
But do you think the value dropped when you ripped off the tag?
To me, no, absolutely not.
Well, I mean, in terms of monetary value on the market.
But it doesn't. But it doesn't have monetary value because I'm not going to sell it.
That is true.
If I wrote my name on it, it would be the only bag in existence that Ravenstorm wrote his name on. But that doesn't increase the monetary value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just. I guess, I would. This is a really interesting sort of topic because I do appreciate rare things. I really do, and I would look for rare things. I like fooling around with typewriters, and at the antique fair, sometimes I've seen these things, these little Hermes baby typewriters from I think it's the 60s or 70s, and they're super thin, like really, really, really thin, kind of incredible. It's like if you stacked a couple of, like about 4 inches high at the most, and it's about the size of a piece of paper and 4 inches high, and it's a typewriter. And I saw one of those, and I wanted it so bad, but it was missing a key. And so that's really demonstrative of my evaluation of these things. I really don't care how rare it is if it doesn't work for me. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously this kind of plays into the theme of our conversation today, but it's astounding, like, to see I guess so. On the keyboard note, I've been dabbling in artisan keycaps. I don't know if you guys are aware, but like you get like some. It's really cool actually. I'm very fond of the scene. Is that some artists would basically take a keycap, make their own little molds out of it, and cast it, and then produce cool shaped keycaps. So I have one like shaped like a little cat, and I have one shaped like a little pufferfish, and I have another one that has like the jazz solo cup design on it. And it's all really cool and really nice, and like it's kind of special to have that. To like, it's like this was handmade, and but they're also kind of strange. It's also really strange because sometimes these things go for the way they're distributed is that they're not sold through a store per se. They're not sold in a way that that they are traditionally. Like you wouldn't see people lining up outside of a store to buy these things or anything like that, or staying up all night to click the add to cart button. It's a raffle system because not because they want to introduce rarity per se, but they can only produce so many at a time, right? And they have better things to do than produce keycaps all day. So they'll make like a good run of maybe it depends on the artist, but a dozen to hundreds, right? And they'll put out a raffle, and then you fill out the raffle on a Google Doc, and then if you're picked, you are sent an invoice to pay for the key, and then it'll get shipped to you.
This is. Oh, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
This is interesting because handmade items and art in general does have what I mentioned earlier is snob appeal, and I think that kind of makes an exception because it's not something that's absolutely practical. It's just something that gives you a little bit of personal happiness, and it strikes a chord with you on a very subjective level. And I think that is worth lots of money to people. That's worth lots of money to lots of people. And in this case, with the keycaps, I think Rarity sort of, I wouldn't say increases the value, but okay, so let me ask a question first. Would you buy the keycaps? Would you buy these keycaps even if there were hundreds of thousands of them produced?
That's a pretty good question. See,
if you knew you were going to get it, would you still buy?
Yeah. See, I usually don't like spending money on like kind of these frivolous items. As a matter of fact, if you asked me a month ago, I'd be like, nah, I don't really feel like buying artisan keycaps. It's kind of expensive to me or something.
Artisan, love that.
I guess the appeal to me is it is the raffle process, and
see, but then you're buying the process too.
Yeah. It's the appeal to me is the raffle process, the handmade thing, right? The handmade aspect. It's not like strictly handmade, but it is hand casted, I guess. So it's a sculpt that they mold and then they cast it themselves. Does that make sense? Using resin.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that appeals to me, and then of course supporting the artist, like all those three things, like all appeal to me.
But if the raffle is a major part of why you bought it, then does that mean you actually appreciate the product for its appearance or the fact that it is rare?
That's the thing, right? Yeah. I mean, I could try to justify this all day, but yeah, I guess part of it was in fact like the raffle process and some sense of rarity. It's I probably I guess I don't have I know it's a fine line to walk, in my opinion. I guess where the line kind of becomes is where I draw the line is where people try to profit off of that perceived rarity. So
I see. So like the resellers who tried to
flipping, yeah. So okay, so this is a perfect example because this happened literally today. So I bought these it was a raffle bag of oh crap, hold on, sorry. Of these pufferfish shaped keycaps, and by this artist based in Portland, Oregon, and these keycaps are fairly sought after. So I was like, oh, cool, I'll enter. Sounds fun. And the colors look pretty nice. It was like this nice little, solid single color rainbows in a rainbow. Like it's just one color. You get yellow, red, green, blue, whatever. And so if you enter the raffle and you win, you could order, or you fill out the form and you could order up to like 7 keycaps, right? 7 of these keycaps. So,
Okay.
my keycap in particular isn't very rare at all. I don't think it's super rare or very sought after. But other people might think otherwise. So, more power to them, I guess. So, they get these. They're also shipped in blind bags, so you don't know what color you're getting. So when you open it, you're like, oh, what color am I getting? It's a very fun affair. And it's like in a little poly bag too, so it's like opening up a pack of magic cards.
Everyone loves a raffle. Everyone loves a gamble.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you can imagine how appealing it is. So, and the maker was kind of really nice because the maker of these caps was really nice because they tried their hardest not to give anyone duplicates. So if you bought 7, they would all be different colors.
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah, really good of them. So I was browsing Mech Market, which is the online marketplace for keyboard related gear, and I saw, hey, someone was selling these keycaps. I'm like, oh, someone's selling them already. I wonder how much they go for. I was kind of curious. I'm like, I wonder how much they go for now. And I go on there, right? So for reference, I bought this keycap. I won the raffle and I ordered 1 keycap because I'm broke and I'm not going to buy like a lot. It's $35.
How much was it?
It was $35 plus like $10 shipping, so like $45 total, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a lot, but it's a cool keycap. And, it looks good. I go in there and this guy, he has 14 of these keycaps.
Jesus.
Right? He said, "Oh, I'm selling for me and my brother." And he's selling 14 of these keycaps for $80 each. We're talking about 200% profit margins here off keycap that shipped yesterday.
What an asshole.
Right? The entire community. The entire community was vicious toward it. I mean, he didn't make any responses. I mean, I wouldn't either. But like,
yeah.
I'm not surprised.
It was also painfully obvious that he used alternate accounts to enter the raffle. Especially saying, "Oh, I bought this for me and my brother."
Right. Yeah.
Fortunately, the creator has mentioned that if someone is found to be like being kind of an asshole about selling them, look, not reselling strictly, but like and being an asshole about it, he'll like bar them
pricing.
As far as pricing goes, he'll bar them from future raffles. So yeah, I don't particularly mind Rarity, but I do mind people selling them, like making a large margin off that Rarity.
Buying them specifically to sell.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, people will pay whatever something's worth to them, and
exactly.
So
and that's why those people paid $600 for those key sets earlier.
Right, and I guess. So I guess it's not a matter of intellectual property so much as it is just exploitation, and avoiding using one's, I guess you could call it privilege, but I don't think that's the correct word.
Right.
To squeeze another dime out of someone else. Because like obviously the guy who ordered these keycaps like didn't actually care. He didn't actually get happiness from receiving these things.
No. They wanted money.
And there are other people who probably ordered just 1 or 2 who didn't get them, who wanted them.
Yeah.
That would make happy.
Yeah.
So that's really like, because you're taking it from someone else at this point.
Actually, I think what happened at the end was that someone ended up buying all of them, and then he said, "Okay, I'm gonna buy all these and then sell them at cost to everyone else." Which is a really good guy move. really good guy move, but also still letting the guy profit. So it's like a 50-50.
Yeah, and just at the loss of himself.
Yeah, good guy. I mean, it's good for him, but yeah, I wish he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to add is that like so like in your hypothetical situation that these keycaps don't become mass produced or much more accessible. You're right.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't buy one. I don't know. Well, it depends on how much they cost, right? If they're mass produced,
they cost the same. Like, or actually, let's ask this question: you are willing to pay that much for one keycap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're assuming that because you paid that price, that's what it was worth to you.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been worth more. But it definitely wasn't worth less.
Right.
So let's assume you just pay the price you paid, and everyone has to pay that same price.
Mm-hmm.
But the artist values their time at.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But anyone who wants one gets one. Is that what you're saying?
Anyone who wants one gets one, but it's still the same. It's still the same randomness factor. You still don't get to choose your color.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So
everything is the same.
Okay. The randomness actually is kind of fun too, right? Because I mean, it's not like CS:GO where you're gonna get something shit or you're gonna get something amazing. Right.
Ooh, yeah.
Right. It's like, and we could talk about that in a little bit too, right?
That's something that they totally manufacture scarcity because all of those things are digital.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
No.
Literally numbers in the system. But in this case, I would probably, I would be less inclined to buy one. Maybe I would. I don't. If I found one that matched the colorway and I thought looked good, sure. I actually the design did admittedly grow on me as I hold it in my hand, but yeah, I wouldn't be inclined to buy one. Although, the good news is that more people who didn't have the means to buy one otherwise would be able to get one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Another note is that I have 3 artisan caps right now. I have this jazz keycap. Right. I also have this kitty, also known as a kitty. Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they call it. That's what the manufacturer, the maker calls it. And I'm honestly considering selling at least one of them. I don't think I'll sell.
How much you selling the jazz
fish.
for?
Do you want it? I could sell it to you.
It's pretty aesthetic, but no.
I'll sell it to you at a loss.
How much?
Like $10, maybe.
Oh, totally.
Oh, wait, is this an auction now?
So
$10.
So yeah, so the thing is that like if I were to resell these keys, I would not sell them at a profit. I mean, I'm tempted to, but now after this discussion, I definitely don't want to. I'm definitely going to sell them at cost. So this kitty I bought for $45 shipped, right? So $10 shipping across from Malaysia, no less. I would probably at max I'd probably sell it for $45 before shipping, but I would probably sell it for less. Just cause I don't want to gouge people. No.
And the thing is, but you gotta ask the question: is it gouging? Because devil's advocate, it's worth what people will pay for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And people will pay what it's worth to them.
Right.
So by setting a price really high, you're just finding the audience who will pay what you want them to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, let's use the pufferfish keycap as an example. Maybe there were people who were willing to spend, you said $35 total?
It's $45 total.
Okay, $45 total to get a keycap. But they wanted a particular color and weren't willing to pay that same amount for a color they didn't want. They might be willing to pay more for a specific version of the pufferfish. So
I absolutely expect that to happen. There are some colors that don't look as good as others, in my opinion. I'm glad to have gotten a nice yellow color, a yellow submarine color, which I like. But I'm sure others who got like the kind of boring green and blue were not so lucky. Yeah, I mean, it's up to them, really. I mean, I'm not going to tell other people to not buy things or not gouge people, because it's going to happen. Although I'll probably tell people not to. No, I wouldn't. It's up to them, really.
Yeah.
Like, I'd probably be inclined to like make a little profit at least for my trouble,
Yeah, no, like here's the thing.
but
What profit is an interesting thing because you should compensate should compensate the producer for sure.
absolutely.
Like that's just a given. You know, you have a value that you place on it as a consumer. The producer put their time and effort into it in some way or another. They should be compensated, but maximizing profit is like what the capitalist economy is sort of driven around, and that's where it gets kind of scummy, I think, because you can sell it above cost, you know, with the consideration for your time and effort,
Mm-hmm.
and you would still be in the right. It wouldn't be a dickish. It wouldn't be gouging. It's just, you know, you took the time, you had this thing, and you're giving someone else the opportunity to have it now, to make themselves happy, and it's just fair. But when you double the price, that's no longer fair. That's no longer, you know, just like, oh hey, you know, I'm passing it on, sharing the love and whatnot. That's like actually trying to exploit people.
Right. And
Agreed.
And that'll always happen more or less, unfortunately, under these systems. And even doubling a price, I wouldn't like, depending on the product. Like it depends how much it is total. You know, maybe it was undervalued in the beginning, so it depends on what people are willing to pay, I guess. Cool.
Right.
Cool. I'm glad we had that discussion. Really. That was very, very insightful, and actually, I think I learned a few things about scarcity and rarity and things that I wanted to.
It's just like not necessarily learning, I guess, but just thinking about things deeply or more deeply than you would normally is usually a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good lessons learned today in the Data Break podcast as far as rarity is concerned. Cool. I think I don't know if that's all we have for today. I don't know if you guys want to cover anything else. I guess we could always end our podcast as we do traditionally, where we talk about what we've been checking out, even though we did that only 2 days ago. But in the meantime, what have you guys been checking out in the past 2 days, maybe? That might be of interest.
All right. So, can I go first? Because it's
Yes.
kind of related.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so a friend of mine, Peter Kim, he went to high school with us. We play music together just as a hobby thing, and we like to write little melodies and, you know, chord progressions. And chord progressions are one of those things where this is definitely within the intellectual property purview because okay, so I believe, hold on. I can even play it for you. This is kind of funny. Come on. Okay, so I think it's I'm going back in chat to see. Okay, so it's G, B minor, E, and C. And we were just fooling around. Something like... And it's just like, it's a very simple progression. There are only so many chords, and there are only so many combinations of chords that you can really create. And we were fooling with that for a while, and it started to sound a little bit familiar. It's just like something, just kind of this.
Wait, can you
creeping feeling
play that
of-
again?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
We were playing around with it, and it was, and then, like I that came to mind. I was like, oh my god, I know what this is. We just composed the Office theme. Great.
Right.
And this is.
I mean, you probably didn't compose it.
something-
It was pretty subconscious.
No, but that's the thing. It's only 4 chords. You know, there are only so many chords, and 4 chord progressions like. That's everywhere. That one
Yeah.
specifically is everywhere,
You're going to unintentionally write someone else's song.
Exactly. And so this is sort of the interesting thing, is that we immediately dropped this as soon as we figured out that this was the Office theme, because it just didn't feel like we could take it anywhere. Because if people listened to it, even when we were listening to it, we would think about the Office theme. And it sort of comes down to which, like, Taco Bell's Canon, Canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the Christmas song.
Yeah, it's a super, just a beautiful chord progression. It fits together really well, and it's really, musically obvious.
I do
is
enjoy
sort
that
of like the
song,
way
yeah.
you can term it. And like, if you put together a chord progression that uses part of that progression, you can pick it out almost instantly, which kind of like prevents you from going there. And we looked up on YouTube, or Peter sent me a link, that apparently someone else has accidentally written the Office theme song as well. And I guess the interesting thing about this is that there is no sort of intellectual property right involved, but as far as people's perception is concerned, certain chord progressions are a certain thing. They're from somewhere. And, you might hear that progression I played earlier in 80 pop songs, okay? But depending on which memory you have the strongest, it's going to be, it's a progression from that song or that song, And it's very, very difficult to draw lines around ownership when there's a fixed number of places you can go,
Mm-hmm.
That's all. that's something that happened in the last couple of days, which I thought was funny.
Right. That's kind of cool, though. I mean, you've heard that song where those guys play like every single popular song ever using the same four chords. Mm-hmm. So, I don't think chords in particular are intellectual property. Yeah, I think the cadence and the rhythm of that chord might have more an effect than anything.
Absolutely. Yep.
Tell me about your phone troubles, Ravenstorm. I want to know.
Oh, we want to talk about this. I was going to avoid this, but okay, we'll go there. So I broke my OnePlus 3. I broke my OnePlus 3. Rip. It's such a good phone. I still have it sitting up in my closet. It's probably $80 to repair, but it was bought on someone else's account, and I can't access the account, so I can't get the IMEI number because it's broken. So it would be a whole, fiasco. And so I couldn't go phoneless, so went to the carrier. And bought a phone. I bought the iPhone 7 Plus, and I was initially very happy with it. Great design. The software is decent. The camera is amazing. Way better than the Samsung S7 Edge, which I'm using now. Having that little 2x optical zoom is really, really nice. I would highly recommend a dual camera phone for anyone who actually takes pictures on a regular basis with their phone. Beautiful device. The hardware engineering over at Apple is spot on. It's waterproof. It's dustproof. It's really a great machine. But the specs weren't very good. Now, this was like the beginning of the end, sort of. I wanted to know exactly what the specs were, and it had like half the RAM of my OnePlus 3.
Right.
And it had a slower clock speed, and it sort of just stuck to what it needed to have in order to do what it did. The App Store kind of bugged me, because I'm used to having Android apps where a lot of them are ad supported, but also a lot of them are just sort of free, just put on the store for free.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really exist over in the iTunes store, surprisingly. There are free apps for sure, but there's not the same volume. You won't you won't be able to type in any function and then come up with a free app that does it. And that's because they have standards, they have design standards, they have, user experience standards. And I understand that, I really appreciate that, but it definitely limits the utility of the content. And so utility was pretty low here. And then I was texting a friend of mine, and I was wondering why they weren't texting back. And they were texting back, and they sent me pictures of this. And
Did you forget to
messages?
Did you forget to disable SMS on iMessage or something?
No, I disabled it.
Oh.
My messages were coming through 10 minutes late, first of all, and then their messages were coming through 20 minutes late.
Whoa.
Jesus.
Yeah,
That is so
and
infuriating.
I cannot do that. I could not handle that. I could not risk that. That's just like a really bad situation to be in, potentially.
Right. And no, I've had that happen to me too. It is the worst. I think. So actually, I can talk about this earlier. And this is the interesting thing about this. I'll just interject very quickly. But the interesting thing about this was that this was over web, like a internet-based text messaging platform. So it's through the internet even. So like I think so like my roommate told me like, oh, do you need a ride home? I'm about to leave. I'm like, oh, sure, why not, right? Mm-hmm. So like I wait for him, and it's been like 20 minutes, and then I finally get a text back. It's like, oh, I've been at home for like 2 hours now. Yeah, crazy.
What? That's that late?
Yeah, I think it was a technical issue that normally doesn't happen, but that you can imagine how much it could just screw you over though.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: this wasn't just limited to me. This is something that's been going on with iPhone to Android communication for years.
Oh yeah.
Years.
Oh yeah.
And lots of users have this problem.
There
so I
was
just
a
thought-
study that like if you like I think people like are like Apple like specifically designed the texting app, the iMessage, to like make you hate Android users. So if you have green bubbles, you hate like people with green bubbles because they're using green bubbles. You're like, I don't want to talk to this guy. He's using green bubbles. It's gonna be weird and slow, and I won't be able to use my weird emojis.
And iMessage is a great app. Let me tell you, like it's better than pretty much anything else. I love it, but the functionality just isn't there, man. The one thing I need it for,
Dependable messaging.
It doesn't do. And so I took the phone back on the 14th day to the AT&T store, paid a $40 restocking fee to get this in my opinion lesser phone.
Mm-hmm.
The Edge, the curved glass is like straight gimmick, and
Yeah.
no way around it.
Don't you have one, Max? Do you have the Edge or then regular?
S7 Edge.
Ah.
Yeah, and it's really hard to find a screen protector that fits with a case. I don't have a screen protector on it right now, and I can see scratches forming.
Oh god.
Yeah, but I have the case on it so that when I drop it, eventually, that it won't bust open like my OnePlus One.
Wait a minute. Which Samsung phone do you have exactly?
Galaxy S7 Edge.
And you have no screen protector that works with a. What
I
kind
bought
of
a
screen
protector
protector?
for it. I brought
Is
a
it a
screen
thick
protector
one?
for it.
A thin one?
A thin polymer screen protector, and then I put the case on, and then it pushed up the edges of the screen protector.
Huh.
And
My
dust
my
everywhere and
my
room.
case isn't doing that, so
What screen protector do you have?
I don't remember. It was like one of the first ones that came out on the internet when the phone came out. So yeah, I don't remember the name of this.
I'll
of
figure
either
it out.
product.
But the thing is, like, you can't return a screen protector to, like, once you figure out whether or not it fits.
Yeah.
And so I just like blew $12 on something. Yeah. But if Apple could fix that, if they'd just like bury the hatchet,
Just give iMessage for Android.
just yeah. Like iMessage could potentially supersede Facebook Messenger if they made it open to everyone.
But it's Apple. They never make anything open.
Well, That's right. So, that's the limitations of their business model. We'll see how far that gets them in 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
They've still been coasting off of the Steve Jobs thing. I don't think they've put out anything like they made the Apple Watch. That was underwhelming.
I firmly believe that that Steve Jobs would not have let the Apple Watch release in its current state.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I read that guy's biography. He would have been he's probably turning in his grave. Or maybe he was cremated. Maybe his ashes are individually rotating. I don't know.
Individually rotating ashes.
I mean, think about it. Everyone is rotating. No matter what their form they are after they die.
Well, he's rotating a lot faster.
Yeah.
His ashes will form his body again just so he could beat someone in Apple.
I think I might be due to I might pick up my brother's old iPhone 6 later this year, so we'll see how that goes if I decide to try it.
Also, I am kind of angry with Apple on their display too, because I was considering the iPhone 7 because it's a nice size, It's a nice size.
It's really good. It's like not too big, not too small.
But it's below 1080p.
No,
really?
It's below 1080p. It's like 762 or something like that.
Why?
It's no, because it's their Retina resolution.
Right. It maintains the same DPI, if I recall.
Yeah, and I mean that's cool and all. That's probably really easy for their design team to make things look right. But god damn, that is just that's beyond. That's like imperial versus metric. That's just don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Please.
I mean,
it's
my phone is still 720p, believe it or not. The Z5 Compact.
2017. Wow, I'm not used to saying it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 720p is definitely not. It's not good. It's funny because my phone is 720p, but my two monitors are both like 1440, 2560 by 1440. Same resolution as your phones, by the way.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying the screen on this, by the way. It is beautiful. It's AMOLED.
Yeah,
AMOLED screen all the way. Please, that should be everywhere.
Cool. Max, have you seen anything cool or checked out anything cool recently? Just like in general, as consuming or producing. It doesn't have to be like. It doesn't have to be like video games or anything, but like shows, movies, anything.
Nothing really. Just looking for footage and stuff to use for my video. Pepsi Man is weird as shit, yo.
Ooh.
Pepsi Man.
I hope you better.
The Japanese mascot of Pepsi. Former Japanese mascot Pepsi.
Former. Ooh.
I don't know what happened.
The mascot formerly known as Pepsi Man.
There's a PlayStation 1 game about it. And
Man.
But you can know more on April 1st.
Wow, what a tease.
I'm a fucking shill.
Excellent.
Speaking of shills, the AMD fanboys are in a bit of a reality distortion field right now. It's been a crazy couple of weeks for them because they've been constantly hyped and had their hopes dashed by AMD.
Nice.
Very, very interesting times for them. I just wanted to mention that because it's kind of
Everyone loves dashed hopes.
As far as me, I reorganized my room.
Nice. It's always good to do that.
Yeah, no, I can't hold the same like desk layout like more than a month at a time. It's ridiculous. I finally moved it so that I'm in a proper corner, like my workstation is in a corner, and I actually have a lot of room now. I have space for two like workspaces. I have 3 workspaces basically. My computer workspace and then 2 desk workspaces, which are really nice. I'm really enjoying that right now.
Sweet.
I think that's all we have for this week. I guess. Do you guys have any last thoughts before we close out here? Any final words?
Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Don't flip.
Don't be a dick.
Don't gouge.
Just don't
gouging.
Don't gouge.
No gouging.
That's my final.
I think that's what we
words.
learned here today. Yeah.
I mean, it's reasonable. Again, to sell what you want. It's reasonable for people to pay the price they're going to pay, but there is an ethical obligation that you have as a producer or a reseller to be a good person.
in capitalism, Ravenstorm, there is no obligation.
That's true, but
Look, I'm just trying to seize the
it's-
keys of production here.
oh my god, we'll just have to go storm Signature Plastics,
Yeah.
get a fucking angry mob, go do it. We'll do it.
No, it's not even their fault. Actually, they just can't keep up with demand these days. It's crazy.
They're the means of production. That's all.
They are the means of production. That's true. Actually, we do have there's a Chinese manufacturer that's now producing these keycaps. So very interesting. They're using old molds, but still very interesting. Okay. I think that's it for this week or this episode. I'm gonna try to combine them, or no, I'll probably combine them.
But what about 69?
We'll see. Anyways, thank you for listening. On behalf, if you guys want to check out this intro and outro, Grant Webster is on the SoundCloud. He's on SoundCloud 9. Sorry. If you want to check out Max,
That was terrible.
If you want to, if you want Max to keep teasing you about whatever the hell he's releasing on first, check out his YouTube channel. You can check out his crazy antics there. He's got some pretty good stuff. Not gonna lie. And without further ado, thank you for listening. On behalf of Max, Ravenstorm, and myself, we'll see you next time. Look out.
Don't be a dick.